Done poorly, competition will absolutely destroy a team. But done well turns winning teams into championship teams. If I'm leading a team like that, I am making sure we celebrate loudly. The guys who aren't performing today hear about the guy who is performing today. And I want to see those guys cheer that guy on. This kind of brotherhood. It's not about keeping score to crush an ego. It's about keeping score to crush complacency, to crush mediocrity. Because most people are going at their quote unquote their own pace, which in 2025, most people are barely going at all.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Waste No Day podcast. Your host, Nate and Brian, hanging out with you again on another glorious kickoff to the week. Looking forward to a great episode this time as we talk about the subject of brotherly competition. That's right. We're going to get into what it means to have a little healthy competition in your life and how it can make you a better competitor and a better overall person and salesperson, which is going to be our focus today. Looking forward to the conversation. It's going to be a kickoff with the introduction here, and then we'll get to the meat of the show. So let's start it off with a quote from Brian.
I'm not competing with anyone else. I'm competing with what I'm capable of. Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I'll push back on that a little bit. 89, 90. He was competing with and getting bullied by the Pistons. But even in that case, that competition fueled him to become greater.
The greatest, one might say.
I would say, yes, this one would say the greatest.
Yes.
I mean, there's still some talk about LeBron and MJ, but I would say if we're talking about basketball, offense, and defense, we're talking Jordan's better than LeBron.
Did you just say if we're talking about basketball?
Yeah. I don't know what the other people are talking about. LeBron might be the GOAT at, but it ain't basketball.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, we'll see if the haters come through on this episode.
You know, I've never seen a live NBA game, and my son went to a Phoenix Suns game. I forget who they played a couple weeks ago. And he got a pick with a player, and he got they were courtside, and he got half the team and the coach's autographs on a poster that my wife then framed for it. Yeah, so cool. And I've never even watched an NBA game live, but I was around, you know, I'm not young. I could have seen Jordan play live and never did. Well, I didn't have them that wasn't happening back then, but now, you know, I could have seen Kobe play live for sure. And I can definitely see LeBron, you know, I go in and out of whether I care that LeBron exists or not. He makes it easy, but the guy's a freak, an absolute freak. So I think that probably need to make it happen before he retires.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's probably going to be a better show than, I don't know, say like a Michigan game or something like that.
Or Penn State game.
Well, right. Misery loves company, my friend. Welcome.
Yeah. Welcome, new head coach.
Yeah. Do you know James Franklin will make $20,000 a day for the next 6 years?
Like a Saturday or
No,
every day?
Every day. Yeah.
Whether he gets another gig or not.
That's close to what we're making here on this podcast, which is why we keep doing this in and out every single week. And thank you for your support, everyone.
Yeah. He's for flowing that money into Nate's OF account or whatever it is he's talking about.
Well, what we are talking about today is competition, and certainly no shortage of that in the sports arenas where you see that frequently and you see it, the dynamics of it play out in many different ways. We're going to be talking about today, probably more on the lines of like your team that you work with, perhaps not even people that you work with, but people that you just associate with who can push you further and help you get.
If only there was a community of people doing that. That would be cool.
That's right.
Maybe we'll touch on that later.
Is there such a community? Yeah, we'll have to tell you what. We'll have our producer do some research while we are doing the show.
Yeah, it'd be cool if it was like for blue collar people, but like for closers, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Got it. Okay.
.com. Yes, that would be awesome.
Well, Jordan certainly was a great competitor. There's been many that have existed over the years, and even even athletes who, so to speak, don't compete against or with a team, like take Tiger Woods or golfers or or bikers, right? Cyclists, I should say, people like that who are they're doing their own performance, so to speak. They still have people in their lives designed to push them, designed to refine them, whether it's coaches or other athletes that are in their same arena. There is no shortage of competitors and people who are looking to be great attract that because they know there's a certain level of goals or achievement that they will see by being pushed in the right direction. And that's kind of the concept that we're going to be focusing on today, which I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, buddy. Me too. I got some cool notes that I took for this. I was at the gym, what would have been 4 days ago, lifting in the morning. And I've been doing the pec deck, they call it. It's like the fly machine, where you just stick your arms out and your elbows go back and back and back. And then you bring your fists together to work your chest.
Yeah.
It's in the weight section of the gym. So I'll shoot you a picture of it, Nate, so you know what I'm talking about.
That's not in the free weight section, though. I'm a little surprised.
No, I love it, though, because I don't do what I just talked about. What I do is I sit almost sideways, like at an angle, and pull my one arm way back and stretch that pec and only work one arm and then flip to the other side and work the other side.
Okay.
And really, really burn them out, but also get a really good stretch on them. Because if I just do a regular stretch while I'm doing both arms, it hurts my shoulder. Like pretty much everything hurts my shoulder these days. So, yeah, so it's a real nice, but I got a real good pump and my chest was just flared up like crazy. And I just started thinking, there's a few guys that I see every day in the gym and we push each other and talk a little smack from time to time. But one of the guys was at a machine a few down and he was lifting the weight I had lifted on that machine, I don't know, a few days earlier. And he was same weight, but I did it like 4 times and I counted like 14 reps.
Nice.
On the set. And I was like, this mother. So I saw him do it. And where I was about done, I was putting the pin at 120 on and then doing it one-handed on this pec deck. I was about to be done with that set and I was like, you know what? And I dropped it down to 140 and then went like 12 reps and then got myself mad again at Josh crushing my reps over there. And
it was his first machine, buddy. It was his first machine.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I'd been working all day by the time I hit
exactly.
that. Yep. So then I dropped it to 150 and got 8 more. And I was like, okay, man, if not for that iron that sharpened me, if not for that push from a little, we say brotherly, but I'll say broly competition, we say brother and bro, and it's like, feels very male and masculine. And certainly if this thing exists, we created it. But there are plenty of competitive women in our space doing their thing out there. And I don't want to make them feel like we don't have their back or we're not talking to them because push us, get pushed by us. Like, let's go. Yeah. So as I finished the sets, I was like, yeah, that was great, man. And I was like, I actually walked over to the treadmill on my way out because I had like 10 minutes left and cranked it up and just started walking on the incline to loosen the legs up and get a little blood flow and a little more calorie.
I'm surprised they let you in there.
Yeah, I actually went for a run the other day. The audience is like, oh my gosh, good. Or... Another story that has nothing to do with the Waste No Day podcast. No, I got up a little late. I got ready and was about to leave for the gym. Ended up talking to Amelia in the kitchen. And Ethan, my son, walked out like I'm going for a run. And I ended up talking to Amelia for so long, I had 20 minutes left until I had to get in the shower. And I was like, oh, there's no going to the gym now. So I just ran, just jogged. Let me rephrase. I jogged for about 30 seconds and then caught my breath for about 45 and then jogged for 30 seconds and caught my breath for 45 and just did that many, many times. But my heart rate was sure feeling it.
Yeah.
I got back dripping in sweat and realized why I hate running. I got nothing out of it. Nothing good came of it. Zero. Yeah.
That's great. I like that story. It's fantastic. I disagree. I think something did come out of it. I think we all got a laugh, which we appreciate that. But you're always telling us we got to challenge. We got to challenge. We got to do hard things, right?
Yeah.
So that's good for you.
Yeah. So I went and did it. Didn't tell the guys when I got to the shop or anything, but because I was too embarrassed to say I missed the gym. But yeah, so in the gym after that crazy chest workout, I was walking uphill on the treadmill and I was just thinking about, what transpired and got the notepad out on my phone and just started talking about it with my thumbs. And I said, we really haven't really talked about the value of this done well. Now, done poorly, competition will absolutely destroy a team. But done well in any situation, it turns teams into winning teams, and it turns winning teams into championship teams. And we'll go into why a little bit after we hear from one of our esteemed reviewers.
Oh, well, look at you doing the introductions today. Okay,
yeah, let's stay on track. New show. I got to keep you accountable these days.
Yeah, if you've listened to the last 3 or 4 episodes, you noticed the reviews have been later and later in the show. And
So I think we forgot to do
you.
one. Yeah, so let me get you back on track. Outstanding.
Well, yeah, Brian.
5 stars.
Go ahead. All right.
Only been listening for a couple of months and have been very impressed with the results I've now seen in my personal life, as well as when I'm running calls. Just wrapped up with the Waste No Day boot camp.
Oh.
And was able to learn a better process as well as fix multiple mistakes I didn't even know I was making. Now I know to ask for the sale. Thank you, Brian. Trey. That's Trey. Glizzy Gobbler 42.
Really?
Yeah. Is that something to do with a turkey or something I shouldn't be saying on the air?
I have no idea.
Yeah, so that would have been
tag. I don't know.
That would have been February 8th. He left that review. That would have been the day after boot camp, so he hadn't even had an opportunity to use it yet. I don't know when this episode is going to air, but if it's before November 2nd and 3rd, 2025, you still might have a chance to get a boot camp ticket and meet us in Fort Lauderdale at the Margaritaville Resort for a 2-day Waste No Day boot camp on the beach this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
my full selling process, the GoPro system, do some objection overcoming, get up and role play on stage if you've got the brass for it, and have a good time, man.
Really
hang with some killers and some. Yeah,
you're gonna bring them up on stage no matter what.
Let them find that out the hard way. Yep.
Yeah.
So it'll be a great time, and it's going to be a really cool place. Britt Johnson, the one who books it, said it's an awesome resort right on the beach. So I'm pumped. I'm bringing my daughters this time. The one who's here waving at the camera.
Well,
very excited. Nate, don't get so excited, buddy. You're not even going, are you?
Yeah, that's awesome. And we do appreciate it, Trey, or Glizzy Goblin, or however you go by these days. Gobbler. Thanks so much for the review. We do appreciate you taking the time to do that. It does help us spread the word and helps us to be found on places like Spotify and Apple.
Every possible way it helps, because you give us some confidence and some motivation, and you prop the show up where people can see it. So thank you.
Thank you indeed. Well, it's time for us to switch into the big portion of the show, and it's just going to be the two of us today. So let's get it started. We're talking about competition, specifically the healthy kind, and how others around us can help us to pursue things that are great. And as you were mentioning running, Brian, which I'm so proud of you. That's probably the most quarter miles that you've run in the last decade, I'm guessing. So well done there. But I have been doing a fair amount of running myself lately. And if you are a runner or you have tried running in the past, there's one common rule to running, which is basically, yes. Well, that's number one. And then number two is if somehow you do find yourself running, if you find other people running towards you, you are not allowed to stop running. Like you must run until you at least get past them, even if you're about to die or any of those things. That's just a rule, right?
Really?
If there's another runner, if there's you can't stop. Like when somebody's running towards you, you got to put on the show, man. You got to keep going. It's competition, right? And so, like, as soon as you see them, like,
speed, and do you hold your breath past them so they don't hear you?
Oh yeah, chest is out. You're pumping the arms. You got a stern look of just intensity on your face, like you're crushing this thing, and then you all but fall over after you get past them. But it's fine. It's all good. Just don't turn around. Yeah, it's like a code of honor for runners. That. But anyways, it made me think about competition in a humorous light because there is something about it. Like even though that's kind of joking, but it's also kind of serious too, at least, for one of us on the show, is that when you're faced with some level of competition, when you're faced with even like a stranger's accountability, you want to do better. Like you want to look like you are at least somewhat in control. You know what you're doing. You want to, you step it up a little bit. Maybe you pick up the pace. Maybe you were going to stop or you were going to slow down, but then you power through. And it's a silly yet simple way of explaining the fact that that's a very base level of competition. I'm competing against this perfect stranger who's watching me run, and I don't want to look like a pansy. Like I want to keep going, and I'm going to do that. And it's amazing how many times that I found myself like, oh, I'm really tired. I'm about to stop, or I want to slow down. And then I look up and I see somebody coming down the trail. Well, okay. I guess I'm going to have to run past them now. I'm not going to stop then. And you know what? Sometimes that little push gives you enough to get over whatever tired feelings you had right there. And maybe you drag out a little bit longer, which is always encouraging. Now flip that into other areas of your life, whether it may be becoming a better parent, a better father, a better spouse, whether it may be a better son, could go the other direction, a better neighbor, a better mentor, a better small group leader, so many ways that you can become better. And you know what helps you to become better is other people who are competing or even running in the same general race as you. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be a known competition. But just the fact that people are doing the same thing that you are is a pretty big deal. In fact, there's Brian, you sort of alluded to it, but there's a verse in Proverbs 27:17 that says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And
pulling out my Benchmade, as you say it, bro.
There you go. Right. You may have seen that on a t-shirt. I know Walk in Love, if you're familiar with them, did a pretty big thing on that for t-shirts. That's gotten some publicity, but it's a big deal because iron sharpens iron, right? Like Brian's doing the knife thing there. And how does a knife get sharpened? By being held against a stone or a whet. And that's made of more stone or like more iron. And it's that crushing of the iron against another piece of iron that is making it all the sharper. Yeah, Brian's got his knife engraved with the verse. I love that.
So do you, bro. This right. was a leadership team gift from Matt Buckwalter when we were in Lancaster at Nate's shop together. Matt Buckwalter got us all Benchmade and Spyderco knives with Proverbs 27:17 engraved on the blade and our initials.
Yeah.
All sharpening each other all day, every day by jokes. By way of sarcasm.
Hey,
you ever notice how maybe not all the best, but largely the best teams are full of techs who want to beat each other, but still have each other's backs? That brotherly, quote unquote, competition. It's not born out of ego competition. It's born out of respect competition. Like, I care. Yes, I want to beat you regardless, but part of it is in the healthy competition. Like, I want to beat you so that you consider me worthy of being on this team, right? I want to I want to pull my weight. What's the difference you've seen between healthy competition and toxic competition on a team?
Yeah, I would say it's in so many ways it aligns with other relationships in life, and it really comes down to the intentions of the heart. Like, what are you really trying to accomplish? What is your motive behind the action? Right. So think about with your spouse. Maybe you bring home flowers today, right? And the intention of your heart might be that you are.
I think it's coming from the heart.
You thought of her, and you're like, hey, you know what? I bet she's really going to appreciate this. Or maybe you bring home flowers today because you made a mistake and you're trying to smooth things over. Or maybe you brought home flowers today because you're looking to get something else, like a guy's weekend or whatever, and like you're trying to butter her up, so to speak. Yeah. And so what are the motives or the motivation behind the action? I think if you translate that into the competition, it ain't gonna be for a guy's
weekend, though, bro. I'm much more short term on my. I'm thinking of a few hours from now. There.
Yeah, I gotcha. But in team's perspective, in competition, I think it really comes down to that same thing. What is the intention of the competition, specifically the competitors? Are you trying to win at the expense of tearing down other people? Right? You're trying to build upon their destruction. Would you rather win, or would you rather see them lose? Or would you rather see everybody win? Right? Which I think if everybody's in it to like, hey, let's all win together. Let's compete. Let's drive each other farther. Let's do this the honorable way. That's healthy competition that is going to yield good success and really other positive benefits to the team. But you get somebody in there who's like, I'm winning at all costs. I'm going to cut corners, or I'm going to, do some nefarious things to hurt the rest of the team. Like the intention of the heart is off then. And I think the competition it might succeed from a financial standpoint, but it will have consequences that far outweigh that.
In weak cultures, in teams with a weak culture, competition breeds insecurity, or probably more what you're saying, that competition comes from insecurity. It's like, I can't fathom the thought of taking an L, to the point that even if I'm doing a mediocre job at my whatever this month, I would rather see everyone else fail and me fail a little bit less, just so that I can have the W.
Right.
And that's cancerous, insecure competition in a weak culture. But in strong cultures, like the ones that win, competition breeds excellence. When you walk into a shop and you see techs and salespeople cheering when someone hits a big sale, but then quietly whispering or thinking, all right, I'm coming for that number, right? I'm going to do that one today, plus a few. That's the good stuff, right? I'm still happy for you, but I still want to beat you by a little bit. Like, I'm not happy that you're beating me. I'm happy that you're doing well, right? I still gotta catch up here. And that's how greatness gets built in a team. And if you start with that type of team, like we certainly have here in Phoenix, no question about it, and you start building out from that core group, then you're well on your way to a championship team. We don't compete because we hate each other. We compete, if anything, because we believe in each other. And again, I'm trying to prove every single day that I'm worthy to stand shoulder to shoulder on the same team as these savages beside me. So me wanting to win one, it's not to say that, look, I'm better than you. It's to say that, look, I deserve to be here too. Which, you know, it's a struggle for me. It's a struggle for Tex a lot of times. You think about it. If Nate beats me today, well, I just pushed him to be a little bit better than yesterday. And then I come through and beat Nate tomorrow. That means that I grew as a result of my competition with Nate. And if we keep doing that, who outside of this team can touch us eventually, right? Because most people are going at their quote unquote their own pace, which in 2025, like, most people are barely going at all, right? They're just drifting wherever the wind is taking them. But this kind of brotherhood, culture, team atmosphere, it's not about keeping score to crush an ego. It's about keeping score to crush complacency, to crush mediocrity. And if I'm leading a team like that, I am making sure we celebrate loudly. I'm making sure the guys who aren't performing today hear about the guy who is performing today. And I want to see those guys cheer that guy on. But part of it is like, I used to say it all the time. If I was doing crappy, man, if I went like 3 calls and was sitting at $800 in revenue and hadn't made any money, and I knew I had 1 call left, if Brent hit or Joey hit, one of these guys hit, I want the phone call. I want to know it. Especially when I go like, and they'll go, yeah, man, 23 G's here. And I'm like, sick. How'd it go? How'd you do it? And as they're saying the story, I'm piecing together in my head how it went, and I'm superimposing me in there, right? Brian is stepping in now. And the clients that I'm picturing are my next clients. And all of a sudden I'm in a better mood. Man, when you're getting later in the day and you've not made anything happen, and you know, you couldn't get them to pull the trigger, or there was just legit no opportunity for anything decent or whatever, you start getting pretty hard on yourself. Like, I'm not someone who does well with strings of losses. Emotionally, psychologically, I get hard on myself. And then I get that feeling that this is permanent. And all the times that I've won before this was luck. But now, finally, my day has come. I can't fake it anymore. And hearing the story from one of my teammates who I'm only 85% happy. I'd be happier if they sold 22 if I sold 23 this morning. But it gets me excited. It makes me realize, it's out here, man. I'm just like, I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong. But the story that Joey just told me is somebody doing it right. Now I'm going to go get back after it now. I feel like I can mount that horse confidently and charge back. It's saying, I see what you did and I can do it too. It's a constant, respectful push that says, let's go, bro. Let's raise the bar together. How do you, when you see, or if you've seen where that competition can turn sour by way of I don't know how I want to phrase this, but the tech or salesperson who's struggling, right? And that struggle, that 1 call struggle can turn into days, can turn into weeks, can turn into months if leadership isn't on it, right? Paying attention to the team and there for them, and doesn't know how to help someone get out of it. But that toxic competition where somebody's killing it, somebody's hot, and the person who isn't kind of turns on the person who's hot, and now all of a sudden there's that whispering going on and so cool in his face, but really can't stand that dude, and I take every opportunity to take shots behind his back. And you've seen this.
Yeah, and I think the opposite of healthy competition is trending towards jealousy, right? And I think excuses start getting mixed into that in a lot of ways.
Excuses cause it. Excuses are the seed of what turns into jealousy, especially like when you see one salesperson is willing to just grind and just go in and go ham. No matter how hard he gets hit, he's willing to pick up and run another one and take another one and not lose stride. And then, you have someone who's, look, from 8:30 to 2, I'm your man, right? But much earlier than that, much later than that, weekend. What is it, weekend? And then you can get that where it's like, well, yeah, but cause, and so on and so forth. I don't know if it's not realizing or not caring, not being that into it, but the fact that if you're running the late call, the extra call, picking up one on the weekend here and there, you're not stagnant, right? You're learning. So every time you run a call, you're learning, you're getting better. You're learning things, you're picking up along the way, you're setting bad behaviors down, and you're having the opportunity to get better and better and better. So the person who just vastly outworks the other person is just getting better. But yeah, it can get unhealthy. It's not too terribly common, but I've seen it on teams. I've been part of those teams where that was the case, and I was one who would certainly take the extra late calls and run on the weekend. And yeah, I'd get some hate for it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how you kind of see that coming, but maybe it's just a word of warning to everyone out there. Like, if you're not doing well, look within. There's nowhere to look outside yourself unless you're running one call a day, right? If you're running one call a day, like, yeah, that's pretty circumstantial.
Well, I think this is a good place in the episode to probably ask the listeners to do a little bit of self-examination. So, maybe you are the top dog in your shop and your biggest fear right now is being caught or maintaining, like keeping the pace type of thing. And so, a great way of fixing that, I think, is I reflect back to the episode about Brent Buckley. I think it was entitled something along the lines of finding the next rung when you're already at the top of the ladder. And, he kept pushing himself. And, whether it was personally within himself and his own numbers and competing against his previous year, previous 30 days, previous quarter, whatever it is. But I think there's also an element of like finding somebody in the nation or somebody in your shop or somebody in your metro that is beating your numbers. Like if you're big dog on campus at your shop and you're the big fish in a small pond, relocate yourself to a bigger pond. And that doesn't mean that you have to quit your job. Maybe it does. It doesn't mean that you have to quit your job. It might just mean that you find out some people who are doing better than you in the same area with the same type of clientele and the same everything else, and they're outperforming you. And you know what? That gives you a level of competition because we all need goals to be shooting for. We all need a new standard to rise to. Otherwise, human nature can take over. There's only so much self-discipline that most people have that keeps propelling them forward. Because homeostasis is a real thing where you just get to a place of comfort and you're like, yeah, man, I'm performing really well. I'm already number one in my shop. I'm doing the best. Nobody's even near me. Well, guess what? Unless you're super self-motivated, that's going to be your new standard. And you're going to maybe ebb and flow off of that number a little bit. It was a little better year, a little worse year, but still performing really well. Find somebody who's going to push you farther, who is already outperforming you, and then you have something to shoot for. And it's in terms of like looking within and understanding, maybe you're not top dog in your shop. Maybe you're middle of the pack or something even lower than that. How are you personally reacting when the numbers get published or the TV screens come on or whatever your shop does to show other people? Maybe your shop doesn't do it. And you just know from talk out at the dumpster or, the group chats that are going on or whatever. And you see, hey man, Brian, he's always like getting $5,000 tickets and stuff like that, man. And then what do you do, right? Who are you? What is the motivation of your heart? We've explained on this show before, and I think Brian's talked about it with several of his examples in the past. One perspective of that is, well, he's just got to be cheating. Like, there's no way those are real. He's ripping people off. He's lying. He's hiding stuff. I don't know, but he's not playing the game fair, right? That's in the excuse category. That's in the jealousy category. And so what do? You justify your performance by devaluing and discarding somebody else's performance as invalid. Is that you? If that's the case, you know what you need to do? You need to go ride along with that guy. You need to go see for yourself what's going on there. And you might be surprised. You might be dramatically surprised about how they are doing it and how legitimately they are winning. Or maybe you do have a better perspective on things. Maybe you do have a better perspective on things, but you just don't know how, right? Like, oh man, that Brian guy, he's like always posting these big numbers. I just don't know how he does it. Like, I'd love to do that, but I don't think that I can. Like, I don't know what he's doing. Guess what? Same answer.
Yeah.
Go take a day
Nate's
and go
here to tell you
with that guy.
If Brian can do it, anyone can do it.
And then I guess there would be a third option too, which is like you see Brian posting $5,000 average tickets and everything, and you're like, that's cool. Good for him. And you've just settled into a level of complacency where you're not feeling the fire, And if that's the case, you need more iron sharpening iron in your life than everybody else.
Oh, yes.
You've succumbed to just accepting the dullness on your blade.
Just tapping the watch face, looking around, like waiting for the Grim Reaper to show up. It's like, I don't know. Maybe it's growing up with a twin brother that I've got to have some competitive drive in my life.
Oh, I got to believe that makes a huge difference, especially for anybody who's had a close sibling. A twin would be, I think, really substantial, but anybody who is just an older brother or like, really close in age, driving that.
Oh yeah. Yep. It's a big deal for me. And I didn't even talk about it, but last Friday I was at, Vertical Track, which is it's Garage Door Freedom. Yeah, so it's Tommy Mello's Garage Door Company event where like home service freedom is all the home services, so it's plumbing, electrical, HVAC, roofing, you name it. Garage Door Freedom and Vertical Track is just for garage door companies. So it was pretty cool. I don't know, it was like a couple hundred people in there, and I was going up at 1. But I saw on the schedule that Chris Voss was going up at 8:15. So had to scurry on into the Talking Stick Casino at 8, catch Tommy go up at 8, and then Voss go up at 8:15, and got to have a chat with him and get an autographed book and a pic with him. And that was pretty fun and pretty awesome. But like, talked to Tommy for a few minutes, and there's like healthy competition, right? Like what I have with my brother. And then there's having a conversation with a guy like Tommy about business. And it's like, yeah, I mean, he's just like, he's got like the BlackRock guys at his house, and like, he's like, it's just wild, dude. Like the game he's playing is it's such a different level to me that it literally seems out of reach for me. And maybe like, if I can let some of my laziness out, too much work for me. Now, I think he did it right. Like, he did it really well, where he was like, he went all in, like I'm all in now, for the last 20 years, longer, over 20 years, and didn't get married and didn't have kids, and said, this is what I'm doing. And now at this point, he's done it to the highest level probably in the history of the home services, I would think. I mean, it's not just the garage door company, which by itself is ridiculous, national, but it's Home Service Freedom and the Home Service Expert podcast. And he's written 2 books, and he's finishing up the 3rd one right now. And like, it's a lot, right? It's like a huge deal, but I'm sitting here at 46 with a house full of kids, and like, and I'm going like, like I want to grow, but I don't know if I want to grow that much. Like, because he says it all the time, new level, new devil, like there's always,
all right. Yep.
Once you've overcome this thing that everybody thinks is the thing, and if they could only get past this, it'd be easy street. Well, once you get past whatever that is, and shoot, that might just be living paycheck to paycheck. Like most people think that's the crux. Once you get past living paycheck to paycheck, and like you could stop working now and be fine for 6 months or a year or whatever, or longer, that you've made it. Well, even like that part, I'm there. Didn't change much. There was no relative change to my life. So like, the stress gets higher, the responsibility gets bigger, the amount of people that are counting on you to make it financially in their own lives increases and increases. New level, new devil. It's very true. But also the rewards are big, right? The more people you influence and help, the more gratitude you feel in your own life. And so it's all worthwhile, but I would say a bit of caution. It's like, if you're rounding out your first year in a HVAC truck running maintenance calls, I wouldn't listen to the Brent Buckley episode where he talks about doing 13 million in a year out of a truck at 80% maintenance calls, and say like, I just don't feel like I'm doing anything if I'm not doing that. Like, just do more in 26 than you did in 25, right?
Mm-hmm. Brian, I just finished up reading Unreasonable Hospitality, which is a fabulous book. And when I say reading, I mean listening. But it was interesting. It's all about his rise in the restauranting industry, and specifically at 11 Madison Park EMP, which is an extremely famous restaurant in New York. But he didn't start there. It catalogs his rise from like before he was even in college, to going through college, to then getting out of college and like getting a low-end job in restaurants and bussing tables, and then moving his way up through, and everything else is really fantastic. And yet it really demonstrated a lot of the concept that you're talking about with new level, new devil, because he was passionate as eventually the general manager of a restaurant about getting, Michelin stars, or even stars by the New York Times, which is a massive deal. Like it's I don't even know how to draw the equivalency in the trades, because it's so hard, so rare, and so long. Like it's such a long journey, right? it would probably be like the equivalent of trying to change your 3-star Google status that has 10,000 reviews and trying to get it up to 4 stars. Like, think how many 5-star reviews it would take before you would move 10,000 reviews at 3 stars. Like, it would be phenomenal, right?
It might even be getting like to the 100 million in revenue mark, or the 250 million in revenue mark. Like, it's that big and that rare, would take that much time, energy, and effort.
But along the way, he really talks about like not only the competition within his own restaurant and how they were dealing with things with the staff and, you know, different perspectives, and really the barrier that exists naturally between the kitchen and the dining room. But they were also trying to compete on like the top 50 best restaurants in the world list. And year after year, you know, going there, hoping and hoping and hoping that they would be better, and then getting disappointed and having to come back home and eat humble pie. And guys, we didn't, you know, we were number 50 this year. Oh, we were number 47 this year. Right. And then going around the world and dining at other restaurants that were doing it better than they were and were higher up on the list, and not walking away from it with anger and jealousy and frustration, but with motivation to change and to move up, to improve your stars, as they would say. And it was an excellent read. It had far more concepts in it than just the one that I'm talking about, but it made me think when we're talking about competition, how he really demonstrated positive competition and what the power of having that right internal motivation can do towards driving you farther.
Yeah, I was writing a new reel, you know, my social media reels, on Sunday afternoon. And I've been kicking this one around since I first started doing them. It's just, I'm always kind of going back and forth on the 5, but a reel I want to do is just, here are the top 5 books you must read to hit the next level of your selling career. And it's just my top 5 sales books, right? And that's one of them, obviously. Well, obvious to you maybe, right? Because of how. And as I was writing, I was just trying to understand, like, what small 1-sentence concept of that book hit me so hard that I consider it in the top 5 books that anyone in home services has to read. And what I came up with was, this book will, I'd have to look at my notes, but it was something like, this book will take what you think you know about customer service and, you know, make it feel pathetic.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the thought and the effort and time and money and energy and consistency that he and they on the team put into not customer service, but customer experience, hospitality, will blow the mind of anyone who listens to that book. Very easy book to listen to. It's even entertaining. There are a lot of stories in it. And I say this often.
Yeah,
you know, Go for No made the list. And Go for No is another one that made the list. And I say it about this book. One, it's only an hour and a half audiobook on 1 speed. So it's a pretty easy listen. And it's in story form. And it's fun to listen to. And for me, I don't know, I guess I'm immature, but when a book is a story, very easy for me to get through. When it's like influence.
Especially if it has coloring pages.
It's an audiobook, buddy.
Well, yeah, translated.
Influence, obviously made the list, is packed full of short stories and surveys and studies that they did and statistics. And these are very easy for me to listen to, because in that way, I like the small chunk of something that I got a 13-minute drive to the shop in the morning. I want a piece that I can chew on for the rest of the day out of that drive, right? And Influence, exactly that book, although I think it's like 40 hours at 1 speed or something. It's a long book. Well worth it, though. You won't regret it. But be on the lookout, or be in bluecollarcloser.com. Come train with me and Nate. We're up in there every single day. got a classroom inside. You can just set up your own workstation. This is what I love. It would be cool to make a post in there to say, show us your training station, right? Because people private message me their workspace. And before it was just like they're driving, listening to an audiobook. But now with bluecollarcloser.com, you have an actual classroom. You'll go sit in and press play, and you'll watch a video on how to more effectively sell by telling stories, right? And you need to have a pen and a piece of paper. You need to sit there with your AirPods or whatever and watch the video and take notes and learn and create. So people are just occasionally sending me pictures of the desks that they made up or how they shifted their bedroom around, like yours truly. Nate's in his basement, but we don't have basements in Arizona. So I am in a corner of my bedroom with the big old waffle light and the boom mic hanging overhead and the side light.
Still doesn't do a lot for the face, but that's what the face cream is for. And now sponsored by fill in the blank, Brian.
And this crazy expensive camera in front of me, but it's like, and then the blue light behind me for the blue collar closer. Yeah, but it's also the workstation. So I come up here and get the notepad out and start writing reels, start writing concepts for Waste No Day episodes and intros and Wiser Wednesdays and Thursday Q&As and all the Monday, Tuesday meetings that I lead. But it's cool to have a space like that where it's like your crate. All the happiest dogs have a crate, right? And it's just open all the time. And when life just gets a little overwhelming, they can go to their crate and just chill. And I think that's an office for a grown-up. Get your study on. Anyway. Yeah. BlueCollarCloser.com.
Well,
we'll see you in there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great place. Speaking of iron sharpening iron, great place to really find some competition, especially if you are at a shop and you already are the top in your shop, or if you are working for a smaller organization and and perhaps you're the only one. It's a great place to find community, especially those who are going to be positive, forward-minded, and who are going to be focused on making everybody better, which I love that. And there's another great quote that I know, Brian, you have heard many times, as I have as well, which is when all ships rise with the tide. And I think that's a great another illustration around positive community, which is if you are doing positive community and positive competition together, everybody's going to go up with that. And if people don't go up, it's because they chose to throw their anchor over or, unplug the hole in the bottom of the boat and sink on their own decision. And so like the level of competition with the positive and proper motivation, the level of community that supports that type of structure and facilitation is so critical. And when that is carried out well, all the ships are going up with that, including the company and probably including family lives. It's good. And it can have such cascading effects in such a good way.
Yeah. So get after it. Create that in your team, in your life, around you. Find it and create that atmosphere for yourself where when you hit a win, people are celebrating, but also they're going to come back and show you when they win a little bit bigger. And you're going to celebrate with them, but you're going to go, all right, I got you. And you're going to go hit a little bit bigger and then come back and celebrate with them. And that's what you're looking for. That's the team you're trying to build. Now, great thing is we
I think
got
it's a simple
social
way of
media and we have tablets and smartphones, and we can build that team out of people that we could never meet in person.
And that's what I was kind of getting at, Brian. Like, I think one of the foundational elements of that type of great, healthy culture and competition, like start a group chat with your technicians, or like with a group of technicians that you associate with, and like get in there and post your numbers positively and celebrate everybody else's numbers. Like, dude, that was awesome, man. Way to go. You killed it. Like, great job. Excellent. Be the cheerleader for others before you expect them to be the cheerleader for you. If you have that mindset, like, I think you're going to go farther with that than if you're posting your number and hoping, how many thumbs up or how many congratulations am I going to get for you're coming at it from the wrong direction, man. You're looking for fulfillment from the wrong place. That's not what it's there for. It's there so you can cheer other people on. And by doing that, everybody's driving towards becoming better. And so I think that's a simple way of starting. Like, start up a group chat or some type of community where you're celebrating, whether it's in the morning or throughout the day, or you do a debrief, at lunchtime or something like that. Find that place where you are celebrating other people's wins. Start there. It's a simple and yet effective way to demonstrate the right motivation.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a good episode, and I hope that you found it motivational. I think there's two aspects of this as we kind of conclude. One is what we talked about kind of at the beginning and right there at the end, which is, what is your motivation? Like, are you coming at this from the right perspective? When you think of competition, do you immediately go to, yeah, man, I can't wait to win with other people? Or does your head go to, I don't know, like, I've seen a lot of people do dirty stuff. That's not what I'm about. Are you viewing this from a positive or a negative lens? And I think checking yourself there and starting with what's my heart motivation is a great place to begin from, especially if there's somebody in your shop who's outperforming you. And we kind of gave some ideas about how you can even interface with that scenario and what you can do to work your way through that. And we encourage that. I think that would be really beneficial. So make sure that you have the right motivation that you're coming from. And then the second part is, if you are lacking community, or you are lacking competition, or you're feeling kind of, ambivalent and you're just kind of coasting, like, shout out, man. This is like, let's go. Don't accept the fact that a used knife will eventually become dull and you're just going to be okay with that. That's not the purpose. The purpose is, if you have become dull, is to get sharpened again. And that means that if you don't have community, if you don't have people like that who are surrounding you, then you need to go seek it out. And yes, you know what? That's going to be freaking hard, because the natural pace of your life that you've probably wound up in through the course of many slow decisions has gotten you to a place of just saying, I'm good. And you know what? It's hard to get off the bubble when I'm good. But we believe that you can be great. And if this podcast serves as anything, it serves as a beacon for the possibilities of what can be when you choose to, as it says, waste no day. And so if you are looking for community, yes, there are so many options out there. Find it in your own shop would be awesome. Find it in your city would be great. And if you can't find it any of those places, find it on bluecollarcloser.com. It's a school community that is going to push you not only in actually learning real and relevant application to your job, but also with people who are learning and improving and applying every single day, and they're going to push you to do the same. So we hope that you enjoy the episode. If you know somebody who could use this motivation in their life, please share it with them. If you loved a specific aspect of it, or the episode challenged you to make a change or a motivation in your life, we'd love to hear about that as well. Leave us some comments on social media, share this around, or leave us a review. We love all those and greatly appreciate it. We're going to leave you now with our weekly challenge, which continues to be the same: to choose to wake up each and every morning and waste no day.